God! Michael, what did you do?
You can think of utilitarians as not necessarily being about pleasure. We can think, say, of happiness, right, as a broader category. What binds all these together is that for the utilitarian, it's the consequences that count, right? It's not how you get there, it's where you wind up.
I think I'm really starting to get it.
The trolley problem is one of the classic places where people think about utilitarianism and think about whether or not we ought to be utilitarian.
You are driving a trolley, and on the track ahead of you are 5 workmen that you will run over. Now, you can steer to another track, but on that track is 1 person you would kill instead of the 5. What do you do?
Some people think of the trolley problem as a way of defending utilitarianism. Look, if you gotta kill 1 person to save 5, that's what you ought to do. The question is, do you find a healthy person and carve them up in order to use their organs, each one for a different operation?
Dude, what the fork?
These 5 people all need organ transplants or they will die. Eleanor's perfectly healthy. Chidi, do you want to slice her open and use her organs to save the 5 sick people?
People who are willing to throw the switch to kill the 1 to save the 5, in the trolley problem, generally are not going to say, yeah, it's okay to go out in the street and kill 1 person, or to harvest their organs to save 5 other lives.
Although 5 people will die, I cannot harm 1 innocent person to save them. It's unethical.
First formulation of the categorical imperative is often known as the universalizability principle. And Kant phrased it this way: act only according to that maxim, which you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law without contradiction. Okay, Kant. Pretty wordy guy, so let's unpack what he was saying. A maxim is just a rule or principle of action, and a universal law is something that must always be done in similar situations. Let's say you forgot your wallet in your dorm this morning. You don't have time to get it between classes, and you're really hungry. You notice that the student working at the snack kiosk in the Union is engrossed in a conversation, and you could easily snag a banana and be on your way. Sorry, chom-chom. I mean chom-chom. You could easily swipe that chom-chom and be on your way. Is it okay, morally, for you to do this? Well, the particular action you are considering, taking a chom-chom from a merchant without paying for it, is stealing. And if you approve of the maxim of stealing, which you're doing whether you admit it or not, then what you're actually doing is universalizing that action. You're saying that everyone should always steal. If you should be able to do it, then everyone should be able to do it. The thing is, this leads to a contradiction, and remember, Kant's wording specifically says that moral actions cannot bring about contradiction. Let's visit the thought bubble for some flash philosophy. Let's say one morning Elvira and Tony are having breakfast. Then a stranger comes to the door and asks where Tony is so he can kill him. Obviously, Elvira's impulse is to lie and say that Tony isn't around right now in order to protect him from this would-be murderer. But Kant says she can't lie. Not ever. Not even to save Tony's life. Here's his reasoning. Suppose she's at the front door talking to the stranger. At the time, she thinks Tony's in the kitchen where she left him, but it turns out that he was curious about the caller, so he followed her into the living room and heard the stranger make his threats. Fearing for his life, Tony slipped out the back door. Meanwhile, Elvira, in her desire to save him, tells the stranger that Tony isn't there even though she thinks he is. Based on her lie, the stranger leaves and runs into Tony as he rounds the corner heading away from the house and kills him. Had she told the truth, the stranger might have headed into the kitchen looking for Tony, which would have given Tony time to escape. But she didn't. Now, by Kant's reasoning, Elvira is responsible for Tony's death because her lie caused it. Had she told the truth, only the murderer would have been responsible for any deaths that might have occurred.